Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, Doc Cholo's vlog for Kali exercise. Okay, the last time we already passed through 3 lessons. The first one is Kuros, the second one is Figurang Walo, and the third one is Plancha and Tigbas. Okay? Okay, this time we shall deal with juggling of the sword or the knife on both hands. Meaning to say that we would like to show you how we transfer the hands the sword smoothly from one hand to another. Okay, so I have shown you an excerpt of the moves, okay, with the transfer of the ball from the strong hand to the weak hand, then producing the same sequences. Okay, and I've shown you on the excerpt a clip showing that there is a way to smoothly transfer the bladed instrument from one hand to another. Okay, let me show you in detail. Okay, it's like this. Okay, so this is very relevant because you may do the routine both the left and the right and the left hand, the strong and the weak hand. Kali is basically an ambidextrous two-weapon system. Okay, so let me show you this. So when you do the slicing move, okay, remember the wrist is steady and the swing is from the arm. Okay, the sword, okay, the sword turns, okay, changes direction, and as it changes direction this way, okay, take note that there is a stopper. A stopper, you have to be at the safe side. The blunt edge should be facing this way, and the thumb opens up this way for the other hand to receive. Okay, so there's an intertwining. See, it's like this. Remember, the emphasis is it's not like this, it's this way. So when you slash, it changes direction. That's the time when you open up your thumb, then open up the palm and make a interlock this way. So let me put it up. Okay, interlock this way, and it continues upward, and then go same way. You can move it, okay, this way. And I'd like to emphasize a few things here to be able to make sure that there will be no mishandling. Okay, so take note, the thumb is the locking mechanism, and you have to be on the safe side. Okay, when you transfer your left hand, the receiving hand should open up as well and interlock. Okay, when you receive, okay, note that this one is a clip. You open this up, clip it so that, okay, clip it so that it might be held securely. Okay, so when you do that, immediately clip it. Meanwhile, your palm is facing upward so that the gravity helps you out. Okay, so you might release your right hand anytime. When it goes like this, heads up this way, and then you just grip it then. The same manner, okay, the same manner, the palm is up, the thumb is ready, and it interlocks. And you may clip it with your thumb, and you may release it and simultaneously grip the handle. Okay. Okay, so I want you to practice it this way. Transfer it from one hand to another, and it requires really a long hours of practice. And don't hesitate, and increase your speed. Okay, increase the speed, and simulate the normal strikes with the Kuros, with the figure of 8. It's the same thing. Okay, figure of 8. When it goes up, then you go down and change direction, and it goes the same system. Okay, okay, that's the same system. Okay, okay, so that's how it is. Let me show you with the knife. So with the knife, it's same thing, only it's easier with the knife. But mind you, the difference is the strike, because with the knife the use of the slash is not as popular as when you use the bolo. Okay, because with the knife, we will learn this later, this is a more advanced learning. Okay, so with the knife, most of the strikes are in terms of jab, stab, jab, and of course the slash is secondary, because commonly we have a combination of strikes. Strike, when it penetrates, you slash to increase the wound. Okay, so it goes by the same patterns, but we use commonly with the knife are the pattern which is starting with a stab and a slash. Okay, so when you strike with a slash, with the stab, then it goes directly there and interlocks. Okay, interlocks. So it's the same thing, and that's why transferring from hand to hand the weapon is very important. This is part of the advantage of the use of a bladed weapon. Ability, or the ability for you, the option for you to change from the strong hand to the weak hand. Okay, okay, so now it's like that, it's the same thing. Interlock, interlock. Okay, so that's the first one. We'll do the next the next type of movement on the next meeting. Okay, and just to give you an excerpt, I want you to practice this at home. Okay, this is the first one, and there's another one. If you can practice this, okay, when you transfer it, it's to the butt. Okay, the interlock is with that excess portion of the butt, and you're locking up thumb. So it meets there, you drop it, it clips, and you have the reverse type of swordsmanship. Okay, okay, and that's just an excerpt. If you receive it, then you still have the same as if you have the front. Okay, so when we had this, receive it this way. Okay, when you are like this, you have to receive it. Okay, and you may turn it and return to the original. Okay, and there's another way. Okay, there's just to show you. Okay, okay, just to show you that there are ways how we move from right to left, how we transfer the weapon from right to left. Now this is important as we study it with the bolo. Later on with the knife, you will note that it is very much more utilized. You may even make some magic moves when the knife suddenly disappear from view. Okay, and come up on the other side. Okay, okay, so just to give you an example, I want you to practice. I want you to practice the forehand and the knife itself. Okay, okay. First, practice this many times, and next meeting we'll go in detail how we transfer it this way. okay, and the moves, how you can utilize the moves, okay, and how to return it back to the original grip. Okay. Okay, so that's it, folks, for now, and let's try to get into some trivial questions. We have two issues coming from our subscribers and listeners. Okay, two issues. Let's tackle. First is, why do we slash instead of chop? Why do we slash instead of chop? Okay. Okay, let me explain that. And the other one is, what's the use of the weak hand doing this? What's the role of the weak hand? Why do we have to make a reciprocal move with the left hand? Okay, and I guess with the lesson today, movement transferring of the weapon from a strong hand to weak hand is part of the answers, but I'll get to that later. Okay, so to continue on some trivial question, why the slice and not the chop? Okay, first of all, the weapons that we use are designed to slash. The design is to slash, not to say that we cannot use it to chop. Okay, chopping is secondary to the slash. Now I'll show you what designs are like. Okay, this is a punyal crease, and this is an original. So continue on. This is called punyal crease. It's like a crease but shorter. It's a dagger. It's a knife. It's used for a carry, everyday carry for warriors in Mindanao Island, in Indonesia, and in Malaysia. Okay. The handle is shaped like a pistol because primarily the purpose of this is to stab and to slash. Okay, and take note, it is wavy. The reason why, when you enter and you slash, it creates a deeper wound. Okay, this is not used to do this, but you may use it to chop. But the primary purpose for this is to stab and to slash. I hope we get that point. I have another bolo here. It's different. It's long. It's quite heavy. This is called pira. This is another bolo used by warriors in Mindanao especially. Okay. Now you will note that this is top heavy. Okay. You have the blade, and then towards the handle it's thinner and smaller. That makes it a top heavy blade. Now why? Because this is primarily used to chop, to cut. You should have a better, you don't do it this way, but you do it with a folded elbow and chop. And you don't use this primarily in battle. Okay. You may if you are strong, but generally this is a weapon placed back. You have a primary weapon. There's a primary weapon placed in the scabbard in front, and this is the one that makes the fight. This is kali. Okay, this is kali. Okay, what's kali? Kali is a family of blades, whether long like this, or a shorter version such as this. So one of the important members of this family of blades is the crease. This is the shorter version of the crease. We call this punyal crease. In local language, they call this gunung. Okay, The Luzon, the northern part of the Philippines, call this bunong. But here in Mindanao, we call this bunong or punyal kris. Okay, and the purpose are two different things. There are knives, there are blades used to really to cut, and this is used to behead. Okay, and I don't know if you have seen this. This is a memorabilia from a friend who was in combat with the rebels. Okay, you see the niche. So he was attacked, and this was given as a strike, a blow, a cutting blow. And he was in the trance, and he shielded himself with the Armalite M16, and the barrel hit here, and he was able to shoot and kill the rebel. And he gave this to me as a memorabilia. Okay, so there are two different things. One is to cut, and the other one is to slice. Okay, why do you slice? Okay, slicing. Okay, one thing about Kali is that the dictum in Kali is the best defense is an offense, meaning to say every time you defend, there is a corresponding defensive move. Okay, say for example you are attacked, okay, this way from the front, a right-handed man attacking you this way. So what you have to do, the step, okay, bear in mind that in a defensive Kali is that you first go away from the path of the weapon. So it's either you go back or you do side step. So once the weapon is out, once you are out of the way of the weapon, okay, in the trajectory of the strike, okay, usually parry it. Okay, and the next move is a slash. You may have a slash that goes along with that's the reason why, okay, we do this and then we slash, or we do this and we slash. Do this, okay, parry, go up, okay, or go down. We try to cut the pectoralis, the tendon and pectoralis here, okay, and you disable the arm. Okay, so when you parry and do this, it hits the pectoralis major muscles. Okay, and that's a slice. You cannot do this. It's very awkward, and that's a slice, and that's a slice, and that's slice. Okay, one of the things that you have to consider is when you are able to immobilize, okay, cut, okay, hold, then cut. You may slice it in the torso. It's a slice. See? Cut. Okay, sometimes you do it this way. Okay, for example, the same kind of move. You parry with your bolo. Okay, parry with your bolo, and the next move would be upward. Cut the triceps. Okay, cutting of the tricep, cutting of the tricep, cutting of the torso, cutting of the, okay, this one you can chop the legs. Okay, not so when you slash the torso, then you can chop the legs, or you can handle the arm and chop the arm. Okay, but generally it is slash. So most of the strikes in Kali, when you are using the sword Kali, not this weapon, not the kampilan. You see, there are knives, there are blades that are narrow from the handle going up and becoming more thick at the end. It makes it top heavy. Lapu-Lapu was using the kampilan when he killed Magellan. It was a chop. okay, it doesn't mean that when you are using kali, it's always just a slash. No. Once you get the opportunity to take a chop, then you chop it, especially with the limb. Okay? When you disable the arm using some slices of the muscle, then you are able to disable the arm and you can cut it off using a chop. Or the legs in the knee. Okay? When you are able to enter and injure the opponent, slicing to the belly and slicing through the pectoralis, or maybe slicing through the neck. Okay? Then when you hold, you are able to get an opportunity to cut the legs, or cut the arm, So you see, most of the strikes in kali are slices, and I hope you understand why. The sword is generally used to slice. It doesn't really mean just to slice. It may be used to chop or to hack, to cut. Okay? But there are several weapons used. Okay, this is pira. Top-heavy weapons are used to cut. And they are not usually utilized in actual hand-to-hand or weapon face-to-face contact. The reason why, because this is heavy and manipulation of this is really difficult. You cannot really easily just move it around. Unless, of course, you are well versed to it, you are a strong man. But generally, Filipinos are small and they have crafted kali to be a slicing and a stabbing kind of weapon. Okay, so much for that. So much for that. So one thing more, a lot of practitioners of kali uses the arnis. Okay, arnis de mano. The arnis de mano uses the stick. And you will note that they have a different way of handling it. Okay? You may utilize it in different way. You may sometimes use it this way. You may have a break cutting, or you just you may strike it in any which way with a lot of other styles. This is more versatile in cutting, but your strike, actually, the principle is to strike as a blunt weapon. And so this is cylindrical. It's cylindrical. You can strike in any which way, in any angle. Even do this blunt weapon still. And so you really don't mind, and it's very strong. I don't know if you can hear the swooshing sound of the strike. Okay, very strong. But of course, kali uses the arnis as a practice tool. Meaning to say, when we use the arnis, okay, that makes a big difference. I hope you can notice. This is kali and this is arnis. Arnis uses this. They may, on occasion, also use this, okay, especially a knife. Okay, arnis may be used with a knife. Now, kali uses a bolo or even a knife, but it uses a stick. We call this the arnis stick. Okay, arnis de mano calls this arnis. Kali practitioners such as myself calls this arnis stick. When we use this, we simulate the use of the bolo. So we maintain the wrist, because from here, when we train using the arnis, then we move to use the bolo as soon as possible. When we are able to know to handle the stick rightly and we know the strikes, then we can move on to the bladed instrument, such as what we have. So the fourth lesson is actually transferring from right to left. The reason why, because I want you to be ambidextrous as early as now. Then you should be able to move the same way you use the weak hand as the strong hand. That's in the same manner, okay? So that's the reason why. And I hope we get the trivia, okay? So what's the role of the left hand? So you see, we intend, as I mentioned a while ago, Kali is a two-weapon system. We may use two sticks. We may use two bolo. We may use a bolo and a stick. We may use a bolo and a knife. We may use a stick with a hand. And the hand is also considered as a weapon. Okay? So when we do a reciprocal move like this, it may be a strike. It may be a strike, a push, a parry, a block. Okay? A block. And you know when you do this, there is a corresponding striking move. Okay? When we do this, this may be a parry, a strike, a block, and there's a corresponding move. And you will note that I mentioned a few lessons before, if you practice correctly, then the move of the weak hand also corresponds to the move when we utilize two weapons. Okay? So that's the reason why we do the exercises this way, okay? I hope that explains it, okay? So we have consumed a lot of time, but I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're enjoying the responses in comments is improving, and I hope you people are learning something out of what I'm saying here. Please do subscribe. Please do share this video, and of course like it, and it would be good for you to engage. Why? Because it stimulates me to do more or to improve more on my post. Okay, I don't have any intention of gaining monetary. No, I'm retired. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm a retired doctor in the field of infectious diseases. I am 70 years old, but I maintain this because I constantly practice Kali, and hence I'm calling these episodes as Kali exercise for my own sake. Some other elderly seniors may probably follow me, and I've gained some seniors here in my locality, and we are trying to form a group now. So much for that, friends. And if you are young, allow me to introduce some new concepts, not the usual concepts that we see in YouTube. Okay, there are so many. That's why I'm including some trivial statements here regarding Kali, because there are a lot of remarks and you know, what's this, remarks and declarations that this is Kali and so and so. Kali is a knife. This is a family of knives where Chris is actually a member. Okay, and the moves that we have here is what we call as Kali, and it's Kalis, not Kali, but because it has been handed down from generation, from the time of the Spaniards who came, who really did not have the right pronunciation of the letter S, and they lost the letter S, and now we accept it as Kali. Okay, that's it, folks. Again, I appreciate those who have asked questions, and I hope you come up with more questions. For now, bye-bye.